Welcome everybody to a really exciting, very special edition of the Social Distance Showcase, because it is very different this week, coming at the end of a 2-week long intensive program by Beth Marshall, working with the top teens in the up-and-coming theater scene from Central Florida, who are going out around the world to create theater when they're not teens anymore. Is that right, Kenny?
That is right. And today we have chosen some of our favorites from the program, and there's singing and costumes and a lot of monologues and just some
makeup.
fantastic.
You're going to see some really, really amazing youth talent on this screen in just a few moments, so don't go away. Something also different this week is that we are not raising money for the Actors Fund. This is a fundraiser for the scholarship portion of this program, because as of tonight, there have been winners declared in this competition, and Beth Marshall Presents will be giving away a multiple of scholarships, and the goal was to raise a minimum of $6,000 during this week, and they're about $520 short of that goal. We hope to raise that during this program, and here to tell you about that are the 2020 top teens themselves.
Hi everyone.
Hi. Hi y'all.
Hi everyone.
Hello, beautiful people of the world.
What's going on, everybody? My name is Matthew Gray.
Laura Pawalis.
Sarah Isola.
For those of you who may not know me, my name is Steele Mycroft.
So I'm raising some money, but I don't really want to bore you with a speech. My name is Katie. I'm a second-year top teen.
And I'm a 14-year-old theater kid from Orlando, Florida.
I'm 15 years old, almost 16 next week.
I'm a 4th-year top teen, the co-producer for this year's Top Teens, and I've been an intern with Beth Marshall Presents since 2018.
And I'm also co-producing the event this year with my friend and fellow top teen, Joshua Huff.
I've had the opportunity to participate in several performing arts classes and workshops all around Orlando, and all have benefited me greatly, but none I can say has benefited me as much as BMP Top Teens has.
This program has taught me so much by allowing me to work with such talented performers and creators, and learning so much from the panelists that are brought in.
Top Teens is essentially a 2-week summer intensive where we go deep dive into theater and what it's like to be in the industry.
We take workshops and classes that range from musical theater to acting for film, television, and stage, all the way to the technical side of theater.
We then put on a showcase for professionals throughout Orlando.
These people show us the industry and how it works, and I know they've all made such a huge impact.
Helps to bridge the gap from high school theater companies into the professional workplace.
This program isn't just about actors and actresses. It also gives stagehands like myself a place to shine and hone my skills as a designer.
We have a ton of ridiculously talented kids involved in this program who've been looking forward to it for a while now.
And as you may know, there is a big fat pandemic going around right now.
Unfortunately, due to the coronavirus, we are not able to fundraise as we normally would, so
This is where you guys come in. It's important for me to promote our GoFundMe fundraiser to help this program continue this year and in the future.
Please consider donating to help kids like me learn more about the arts.
No donation is too small.
and there is absolutely no pressure to donate.
You cannot donate anything right now, I completely understand, but you can also help out by sharing down below to your friends and your family.
Simply sharing the video and spreading the word about Top Teens and the fundraiser, that means the world to us too.
Artistic opportunities have been canceled and our spring shows have been canceled.
I was in a rough place last year when I started BMP Top Teens, and she really helped ignite my spark again for creativity. I'm so grateful for that.
I have learned and grown so much through this program and through the people that I've met and worked with.
We want to make sure that we are part of this community to try to bring light into the darkness. It gives me reassurance that I can still learn and I can still push myself. So thank you so much for listening.
Thank you all for your future donations.
Please donate if you can, and please stay safe and stay indoors.
Thank you all so much for helping support this amazing program. I hope you're all doing well during quarantine, and I hope that I can see all of you in person sometime soon.
Yeah, the way you can help out some artists is there.
And those are the kids that we've been working with over this last week. And here to tell us, do you want to?
Well, sure. I mean, not only have we been working with them, but because of this crazy virtual world, normally this adjudication process would be done in person, but because it went virtual, Beth was able to bring in people from New York and Georgia, and Peg O'Keefe was involved, and Dennis, I mean, just people from everywhere, Arwen from New York, people from around the globe were part of this process. And Beth can certainly explain it to you, and we just want to get on to the kids. But before we do, I have to make a disclaimer. I got an email from someone who suggested that perhaps Kenny and Rich and I should consider not having cocktails during this particular broadcast because it was all to do and about teens. And I thought about that for a half a second. And, I thought that certainly these kids come into contact with more choices they have to make and more temptations than they do seeing a 63-year-old man have a sip of Deep Eddy during a broadcast. But to err on the right side, let me just say emphatically for the record, Kenny Howard, Rich Sharon, Michael Wanzi do not advocate drinking cheap alcohol. I know you're going to be tempted to do things before your time, kids, but if you can't afford the good stuff, don't even think about it.
And you'd be sober.
Anyway, ladies and gentlemen, let's bring on the lady who's responsible for all of this. She coaches teen talent from all over Central Florida. She puts together this intensive program every year, and out of it, a lot of kids get some scholarships.
The beautiful and very brief Beth Marshall.
Hey, everybody. It's so good to be back for the third weekend in a row with you guys. I love it.
And it's good to see you again.
Again.
This week because we've both been thrilled to be a part of the program. For people who may not understand what occurs during these 2 weeks leading up to tonight, why don't you briefly let us know what the last 2 weeks entailed for these kids?
Well, this has been a very different and special 2 weeks. One, it's the first time the program has been 2 weeks. Normally, it's been a little bit shorter than that. We've extended to the 2 week period. All of it has been virtual due to COVID, with the exception of their initial audition. So in their initial audition, they were asked to bring in all the materials that they have prepped for the year that we've worked on together, or that they've done in their districts, or what they'd planned on doing in their state competition, or any other outside projects, as well as something they've worked on specifically that's been uncoached for this program. So all of those things come to the table. The audition happens. We pick together which things go into the overall showcase. Then the weeks happen and the days look like this. We have adjudicator panels and we have guest teachers that are there throughout the 2 weeks on various things from improv to makeup to voiceover, acting on camera, acting on stage. Then we have networking, activism panels, leadership panels, tech panels, in all the areas of design. This year, we also had a Black Lives Matter protest that was virtual, that was incorporated into the event. We worked with the Feed the Artist Relief Food Bank through St. Luke's Church and the arts groups in Central Florida. The teens went out and gave out food to artists in need and cheered for their work. And then we also did Play in a Day in the middle of that, kicked off the New Work series, and prepped for this showcase that we've led up to today. And then after this, we have a couple more days of doing our awards and follow-up stuff, and then we go right into rehearsal for our partnership with the Downtowners to work on our Downteeners program.
Cool. And here, tonight, we're seeing choices that were specifically made by Kenny and I. That doesn't necessarily mean that these particular youngsters have won anything. They're just highlights from our week that we wanted to share with our audience. So the first one up is Laura. So let's let the audience know who Laura is and what we're going to see.
Well, Laura Pualis just graduated from Lake Howell High School. She has accepted her college, and she's going to be going to Rollins. She's going to get a BFA in music as a minor in theater and women's studies. And then she is coming on to BMP as an intern for a 2-year program starting now. She just found that out last night. Laura is a singer. She was the vice president of her thespian troupe at Lake Howell. She's played several leads in many shows in the high school world and has won many awards at districts and state and thespians. She does a lot of work in choir and voice. She trains with me and has been privately coaching with me for about 4 months now, but we've been coaching through the school for 4 years. And she is very, very also top of class kind of academics as well. She was the theater award winner female of the program for the year at her school. She's amazing.
Well, let's hear, right, Rich? Let's bring Laura into the call, Rich, shall we?
Yeah.
Hi.
Hey, there she is.
Hello.
Well, Laura, what a treat it's been to watch all your amazing videos this week. Have you had a good time?
Yeah, a really good time. Yeah.
Highlight of the week or 2-week process?
I just feel like I've grown a lot in my confidence from doing this program because I'm really introverted, but I think the confidence of Beth and the confidence of the top teens has really helped me grow, and now I have more confidence in myself, which is nice.
And now you're doing telephone interviews with
one of those
drunk people. Tell her why we chose this particular video.
Well, because I mean, I don't think we've said the name of the song yet, but a lot of people sing the song, and I think they try to emulate the person who originally sang it. And I think that you have made some really great specific choices that just speak to your own uniqueness. And I really like your spin, especially going into the third singer of the. So we were just we watched everything separately and came out. We were like, and we had the top of the list was your song.
What we were discussing is that we've even seen Broadway professionals do this in showcases and concerts, and they're not equally good with each of the 3 characters, and you absolutely were. So help the audience understand what we're talking about by setting this up and explaining what we're about to say, please.
Thank you so much. So it's basically the main character. There's 3 different characters. The first one is she just moved into this apartment and she wants some quiet, and she's gonna relax, and she's about to read a book, and all of a sudden she hears this opera singer going off below her, and she's like, but she turns into the opera singer and she sings the opera parts, and she goes back to herself and she's like, okay, guess there's an opera singer below me. She's like, okay, I'm gonna go to bed now, and she goes to bed, and she wakes up to a scatting singer above her. She turns into the scatting singer, and then she's like, okay guys, let's stop. And then she's like, wow, saying that felt good, and she says it again, and then she has this newfound, wow, it doesn't need to be quiet, I can be big and bold, and she kind of embraces all of the other characters and herself. So yeah.
And you know who wrote the song?
Someone for Kristin Chenoweth, based on her experience moving to New York.
So no.
Yeah. Okay.
But yeah, it was based on Kristin Chenoweth's experience.
Reference that we were looking for. And she is the originator of the song.
Yes.
And you do it every bit as justice. So let's see it, Rich.
Just moved into 14G, so cozy, calm, and peaceful. Heaven for a mouse like me, with quiet by the least, full pets are banned, and parties too, and no solicitations. Window seat, I'll put up with Puccini. Brew myself a cup of tea. Crochet until she's feeny. 8:30, not a peep, except the clock tick-tocking. Now I lay me down to sleep. A comfy bed to rest my head. A stretch, but I'm almost gone. Do-we-da-do-da-da, bon-spilly-do-da, baby-ba-la-la-la-la-la-la-la. Whee! Now the girl upstairs wakes me unawares, blowing down from 15G, her reveille. She's scatting like her name is Ella. Guess who answers a cappella? Do-do-do, Floyd-oy, oh, do-do-do, Floyd-oy, oh. I'm not one to raise my voice, make a fuss, or speak my mind, but might I query, would you mind if, could you kindly, stop? That felt good. Stop. 13, 15, 14G. I'm most unlikely trio. Not quite 3-part harmony. All day, all night, we're singing. Do-do-do, boy, noise, beep-bop-boo, boy, toy. Stop. And my veil of peace and quiet. Shout out loud, I changed my diet. All because of 14G.
That is the caliber of students at the top team.
Exactly. Although we neglected to mention that the title of the song is Girl in 14G. You probably figured that out by now.
Little lame name, but and her other piece, just to give that a shout out, she does a legit opera piece. It was another one of her videos, and just I actually saw that one first, and then when because we just get this Dropbox of very long Dropbox, and when I piece and that music started, I was like, oh, of course she's gonna sing that, and then but then I was like, how is she gonna get to the when she got to this character, which like it's amazing.
Right, and Laura, may I say that although we're not going to have time to see it tonight, your acting piece where you didn't even look like yourself, what was the piece you were doing?
Are you talking about the film scene? It's From the Spectacular Now.
Yeah, it was brilliant, also brilliant. So you want to beg for some money before we let you go?
Yes, actually, we have our Top Teens GoFundMe fundraiser. It's available on Beth Marshall Presents Facebook, my Facebook, which is Laura Puales, and it's to help pay for all of the experience and learning that we have gotten these past 2 weeks. And I would ask that you please go to the GoFundMe and donate. Anything counts.
How could you say no to that smile? Thanks for being with us, Starlet. Best of luck.
Thank you so much.
Thank you. So next we have up Sarah, which was another one of our picks. Tell us a little bit about her.
Well, Sarah is a very special teen with my program. She's a rising junior at Florida Virtual School, and she is the top booker of Beth Marshall Presents. She works professionally in Central Florida more than any of my other teens. She has chosen a path of virtual school because of that. And Sarah has been with me since she was 11 years old, and she just turned 16. I broke my own I usually don't coach middle school kids, but Teresa Smith-Levin is her vocal coach. And she said to me, she's like, you got to take this kid. And she really strong armed me into breaking my own rule. So I've taken her in, and she always has been sort of my baby along the way. And I'm so happy that you all are recognizing her for her monologue work, because Sarah is musical theater with a capital MT. She has worked at Winter Park Playhouse, numerous shows at the Rep, Central Florida Vocal Arts, the Garden Theater. She's done a whole plethora of vocal Nats competitions and various choral things. She sang for the Dr. Phillips Center of Performing Arts. She's opened for Cheetah Rivera, and she recently was on stage with Laura Bell Bundy at Theater West End. So for her to be chosen to do these two monologues, educationally, it means the world for both of us, because she's growing into that kind of girl to woman stage and getting a new depth of richness in her monologues, and I'm very proud of her.
Well, great. And what's her full name?
Sarah Isola.
Isola. Well, let's say hello to Sarah. Rich.
Hi. How are you?
Great. It's good to see you again. We've seen your face in multiple videos for the last 2 weeks and in panels and whatnot. It's coming to an end though, right, girl?
Yes, it is. Tomorrow.
Good. What's a highlight for you?
Oh gosh, there was many highlights this year for me, but I think I loved the musical theater panel. I loved getting to work with all these professionals, and talking to the writers from Disenchanted was a big highlight for me. Yeah, as well as just a reminder to always keep going and not slack, because I needed that this year, and I definitely got it.
Well, that's a great answer.
Great, excellent. We chose to showcase the parts of your work we chose to showcase tonight are actually the acting, not discounting the fact that your song, your musical theater entry was absolutely fantastic. But what's cool, I guess, is that Beth tells us that your acting isn't necessarily the strength that you had coming in, and that's what you've been working on the most. So I'm delighted that we chose your acting pieces without knowing that in advance.
Yeah.
Yes.
Yes.
So you have two contrasting pieces for us. Set up the first one for our listeners.
All right. So I believe the first piece is my comedic monologue, which is From When It Rains Gasoline by Jason D. Martin.
All right, Rich, let's.
Do you realize that tonight is like the most important night of my life? Oh my God, do you? Because it is like totally more important than the first day of middle school, the first day of high school, cheer tryouts, more important than my driver's license. It is the pinnacle of the high school experience. The prom. Prom night. I spent $600 on my dress. Jane Hickman spent $1,000 on hers. She's a total daddy's girl. For her 16th birthday, her dad got her a brand new Ford Explorer. For my 16th birthday, all I got was a 2-year-old Prius. If she wins prom queen, I will literally kill myself. I swear to God, okay? It is bad enough she has a more expensive dress and a newer car. I hate my parents. My dad needs to get his butt in gear and get his daughter a $1,500 prom dress so she doesn't look like a bag lady at the prom, because that's what I'm gonna look like. A bag lady!
Way to go, girl.
Nice done, girl. So you can be funny. Can you be dramatical?
I guess we will find out.
Or anybody writes in to say dramatical isn't a word if you're not included. Do you know why I said dramatical?
I don't know.
Have you not watched Waiting for Guffman?
Unfortunately, no. I have not.
You are not allowed to go to college, before watching For Guffman. All right.
I have a few years until that, so I'll make sure I watch it soon.
How old are you now, dear?
I'm 16. I just turned 16.
You just turned 16. You had to count on your fingers there. So Waiting for Guffman, every theater student in America should be mandated to see it. And it really makes me upset when people think I'm being grammatically incorrect when I say, how's your grammatical work? So let's see your grammatical work. Set it up for us, darling.
All right. So next I have my dramatic monologue, which is from Eleemosynary by Lee Blessing.
By Lee Blessing. Dramatical. She meant to say dramatical. Hit it, Rich.
Uncle Bill hardly remembers you. Did you know that? I asked him what you were like as a little girl, and he couldn't even say. I mean, he has even less to say about Grandma. He doesn't have like, one interesting thing to say about her. About Grandma. They don't even have any pictures of her either. Not even in their minds. To them, she is just this woman who lived this big, embarrassing life. They all think that they have saved me just in time. Not just from Grandma, from you. So I started wondering if maybe they weren't right. Maybe the best thing would be for me to forget about you completely. And Grandma. I mean, what did I ever really get from the two of you except for a good education? I mean, especially you. What were you ever to me except a voice on the phone now and then? I don't know. I looked around this new room where I was staying. It was nice. Like the way that something is before you put any time into it. I thought that I could live this whole new life here. I could invent this whole new me. I could flourish. Like you have. I thought that I could learn to live without the one thing that I really wanted. But I kept hearing your voice. That voice on the other end of the phone, hiding behind spelling words and making excuses, so energetic sometimes, so wishing. I don't even remember what you said. Just the sound of it. The sound that said, I love you, and I have failed you. I hate that sound. And I will never settle for it. Because no one failed me. Not you. And not Grandma. I am a prize among women. I'm your daughter. And that is what I choose to be. Someone who loves you. And someone who will make you love me. Nearly all the time. So, I'm gonna stay with you. I'm going to tend you. And I'm going to cultivate you.
That was another one that when, as soon as we started comparing notes, that was one that just was a no-brainer. It was just absolutely beautiful, well executed, just great, great job. Next up we have Alondra.
Yeah, well, we gotta say goodbye to this.
And goodbye, Chickapoo.
Thank you very much.
Thank you so much for having me.
Take care. Bye.
Okay, so next up, we're going to be showing a video that's a little bit different. It's not a performance video. And the cool thing about BMP Top Teens is that it isn't only performance related. It's about anyone going into any discipline of the theater arts. And although this young lady can and does perform, she's equally interested in makeup. And she did this video.
It's fascinating.
That Kenny and I, being theater devotees, in her talk about her makeup plan for Cabaret, she's also giving you an education about the historical roots of the show Cabaret and historically accurate facts about Berlin during that time and how and why it influences her makeup design. And we thought, the two of us just thought it was so fascinating we had to share it with you. But
I directed the show, and the makeup part of it, I knew the history of the time and the place, but the history of the makeup was just fascinating, and that's why we wanted to make sure that you had a chance to watch it at home.
So this is Alondra. Give us a little background on Alondra.
Well, Alondra Trinidad Colon is new to the program. This is her first year, though she is recently graduated senior from Lake Nona High School. She got many top offers to colleges across the country, and she's chosen Point Park to go to pursue musical theater. But she truly has a 50-50 love for makeup design and musical theater and acting, as well as on-camera work is in the mix for her. She is multi-talented across the board. She is the former co-president of her theater troupe. She makes exceptional grades, and she has a hugely bright future for her. She has gotten very involved in the humanitarian causes that have been on the forefront right now, and she's leading with a lot of her art showcasing those kinds of talents. She reminds me a lot in her style of that as like Kyla Swanberg has sort of taken, like what she recently did, her Pulse tribute to the 49 through her makeup arts. Alondra has sort of started embracing that kind of storytelling, and she's also very academic, and as much out there, big and bold musical theater girl that she is, she really wanted to show this side of her talents through the program this year, and I couldn't be more proud. She's been coaching with me now for a year, and I just look so much forward to seeing what the future holds for her.
As do we.
Yeah. Well, terrific. Rich, let's bring Alondra on, please.
Hey guys, how are you?
Yay! Hey!
We're good. How are you?
I'm doing fantastic. Thank you for asking.
Are you a little bit tired at the end of this 2 weeks?
Oh yeah, most definitely. Before the call went on, I took a good 3 yawns and I was like, all right, I'm ready to go.
You look a lot chipper than we do, honey.
Well, the smile. It's the smiles, the eyes of the smile. Aye.
Listen, pressure's on because you are representing for the entire Top Teens program, those people who have aspirations to work in areas that are not on stage. Of course, you are a wonderful performer, but you're also involved in makeup. We've already said why we love your piece, your video, why we chose it. Can you tell us what your mindset was, what went into your thinking about crafting such a well-researched and extensive piece that wasn't just about your makeup design?
Yes, of course. When we were doing the selection of materials for Top Teens, you have to like think about what you're good at and what like attributes you want to show by yourself, something that makes you unique and a rounded like artist. And I told Beth that I do makeup and makeup design, and I've done that at my school and my shows. And then after I told her that, it was basically, well, okay, that's cool. Now pick a show. And I said, okay. And I was going through my head. I said, okay, I want a show that's not just like a plain show. I didn't want to do like Fun Home or something that's just like a lot of like people that in their regular wear, because you can't really show like your skill if I look like a regular person. So I was like, okay, not that. And then I was thinking, oh, what about Addams Family? They have like a lot of like, I don't know, like, you know, like the characters and like the dark eyes and sunken eyes and like a lot of those features. And I said, but those characters are staple characters. I can't really make Morticia Addams look like the way that she hasn't looked for the past, like 60 years. So I said, okay, another show. And then I was like, what about Cabaret? Because I had watched a video of it on YouTube like a week or two before that. And I was like, I love the show. I love the story. I love the musical numbers. And I love the different characters, the way that they all like interpret themselves. And I said, okay, I want to take this on. So that's how I came on choosing Cabaret. And then just like dissecting the history of Berlin during that time period, when they started more revolutionizing Berlin. So the beginning of like 1919 through like the 1930s. So the beginning of the Weimar Republic, and then when the Nazis came in like the 1930s, 1929, around there. So like that whole section of history I thought was really interesting, because it was like this kind of like utopia of like cities that was unlike anywhere else in the world. And then the way that they just kind of like lived their life and what was normal for them. And yeah, that was very interesting. That's how I came up with why I decided to take that on. I thought the history and the stories were very interesting. So.
Great. Well, it was very well represented.
And beautifully written. Your narration is stellar. Let's have a look at that, Rich, shall we?
The social madness within Berlin during this time period was possible because of the Weimar Republic established on August 11, 1919, and a favorable exchange rate for foreign money. The ended censorship and liberal social policies thanks to the Weimar Republic, coupled with exchange rates, led to artists, scientists, and outsiders, such as gays and lesbians, to come to Berlin from around the world. This influx of diversity pioneered the bending of traditional rules about gender and sexuality. Cabaret was a form of expression, and many flocked there to get away from the troubles outside. Inside the cabaret, rules don't apply, which is why I would like to introduce the concept of darkness. Inside the Kit Kat Club, it is dark and dingy. The poor lighting works in favor of the performers, making them look better than they do. Darkness conceals the truth and entraps the performers, and the audience especially, in its alluring grasp. In my vision for the makeup design, I want MC to be a person of color. In the London Cabaret revival of 1998, in the final scene, MC removes his outer clothes to reveal a striped suit with a yellow star and red star and pink triangle pinned to it. I want MC to be a person of color because I have observed that in the majority of productions there hasn't been that kind of representation. To me, MC represents and comments on the current state of the world, so he should be a reflection of minority groups present during this time period. Since MC is the mediator of life in the cabaret and life in the outside world, I want his freedom of expression to deteriorate as the Nazi Party takes over. In the last scene, when he walks into the chamber, the grease paint is gone, so is the rouge, the wig comes off, and all the audience is left with is a blank MC, void of his freedom. In general, there wasn't a variety of makeup available. Most of it consisted of white powders, grease paint, eyeshadows, lipstick, rouge, kohl liner, and cake mascara. There was no makeup to represent people of color. The performers of the cabaret are poor and afford the bare minimum of makeup to appeal to their audiences. The tools used to apply the makeup are their fingers, and if the makeup comes with it, a powder puff. Men who wore makeup during this time period were called transvestites. Some wore in cabaret as a form of artistic expression, and others wore it every day as a reflection of their self-identity. The makeup quality, however, was poor, so I want to play with the different ways the makeup might sit on the skin or the techniques of application in order to reflect the time period. After all, there wasn't any color corrector to conceal their facial hair growth. The women of the cabaret are poor, on drugs, and occasionally work as prostitutes, as do the men. I wanted the current mental state of a lot of women to reflect in their makeup. They are selling their bodies, whether they want to or not, to pay for addictions or to get by. The men have similar stories, but because their place in society is much higher than women in general, their prerogative is slightly shifted. Instead, some of them actually do cabaret for the artistic expression, even if they are starving artists. Sally Bowles is the only cabaret character that should look misplaced. While MC's makeup shifts with the changing world, Sally's makeup will stay the same.
This is to reflect her inability to face reality, the reality that she might never make it, the fact that she might die young from drugs or something else, and the fact that the world as she knows it is changing because of the Nazi Party. Although her makeup shows her to be a star, it's all a facade. She is mediocre and is afraid that if she leaves her comfort of the dark, the rest of the world will realize it too. The makeup should be roughly put on and anywhere possible smudged and moved around to mimic application with the fingers. So essentially, a fully done face, now you smudge the lipstick. There shouldn't be any excess use of glitters or adhesives. I want the makeup to stay as accurate to the time period as possible. Everyone in Cabaret just is. They just dressed and acted as they saw fit. If a man wanted to wear a dress and pack his face on with makeup, but decided not to shave his beard, that was okay. They weren't trying to hide anything, and that's an honest representation of what Cabaret is. The darkness may conceal the imperfections, but glamour is not the goal. Honest self-expression is. The problem is when your right to self-expression is taken from you. It's like the stinging sensation of looking directly into the sun. Thank you.
Woo! Beautiful.
Like your monologue was fantastic, and you're all so beautiful and put together. And then that other video came up, and you were just fantastic.
Thank you so much.
Well, any words of wisdom you want to leave our listeners with, or would you like to beg for a little cash for this scholarship fund?
I would like to say that on behalf of the story I was trying to tell, I think that makeup design gets kind of left in the background when it comes to storytelling. And I know that at school, and I know it's different because makeup, it is kind of an afterthought, but at school I would be yes, and then I want, to tell this story, and then when this scene happens and you can see if they're distressed and upset with the shadowing under their eyes, and my director would be okay, great. When we watch the show, I bet I'll love it. And I was no, but you have to see my vision. And so I know that makeup kind of gets left to the back. It's the costume and the set design and the lighting and the sound. But I kind of want to leave the audience with thinking next time you watch a show, really think about okay, the costume's amazing, but what about their hair and makeup makes you feel they're in the time period and makes you feel their character's developing? That shows a lot of emotion and a lot of storytelling as well.
Oh, unless they had a makeup artist who has the passion that you have and the attention to detail that video shows. Just great job. And thank you for being with us, sweetie. Best of luck in all your endeavors.
Take care.
Bye-bye. All right, well, next up is a personal favorite of mine, only because I've had the joy of being involved with Play in the Day for so long, as well as previous top teams, that I've seen this young man come innately talented, of course, to begin with, but to watch him grow and blossom over the last 4 years has been really amazing. And he's getting ready to go off to college, so we won't be seeing much of him again. And so we wanted to...
Oh, we'll be seeing him.
Yeah, we'll see it if you have $200 for a ticket. But we actually have like 3 videos that we're going to share to show his contrasting abilities in different genres of acting. And his name is Joshua Huff. Tell us about him, Beth.
Well, Joshua has been with BMP for 4 years now. I started coaching him as a freshman in high school, and he has been with me in private training on a weekly basis ever since. He is very serious about his craft. He has always had an impeccable work ethic. He has won too many awards to count across his high school, the state of Florida, at district and thespian competition, contests, festivals, all of those things. I'm correcting myself because Maddie gets on to me for saying festival competition instead of just calling it a festival. So the district and state festival and other theater competitions across the state. He also got many top offers for school, such as University of Michigan, AMDA, Cal Arts, Marymount Manhattan, and he's settled for a BFA at Pace. So I'm happy. I'm thrilled. When he came in 4 years ago, I was like, gosh, he seems like Pace would be a good fit with him. And we worked hard for 4 years to be on that path. So I'm uber proud of him. He leads with theater acting, followed closely second by film and television. And a third is musical theater, but he often gets his accolades in acting. He just won the Best Actor Award for Playing Today for David Lee's Truman in the Closet piece, directed by Tara Cromer, and he's a very versatile and talented guy, as you will see.
Well, and talking about his academics and his future in college, now it's a good time to remind everyone we are trying to raise some money here for the BMP Top Teen Scholarships. The URL is at the bottom of your screen. If that's too long for you, just log on to GoFundMe and search for Top Teens, and BMP will pop up. Please make a donation if you can to help secure the future of these kids and their path, whatever it may take. And the cool thing about the Beth Marshall Scholarships is it doesn't specifically need to go to tuition if they already might have that taken care of, correct?
Correct. You're 100% right. They can use it for anything like headshots, update with resumes, coaches, printing needs, gas to get to auditions, computers, technical supplies, makeup, any of the things, the tools under your tool belt as an artist that you need, it can be used for. And of course, a lot of them do use it for college.
Yeah, well, terrific. But it's great to have that flexibility. Kenny had to
I
run
apologize.
because
Bella is endorsing President.
Bella was eating a tub of butter. And with that, let's say hello to Joshua Ha.
Hello, guys. Thank you for having me here. Hey, Beth.
For 2 weeks, we're trying to get ready, Josh. My God.
Plus, we've just seen you through the years as well. It's like we've watched you grow up through Beth Marshall Presents.
I have watched you grow up. It's a fact.
It is a fact. Yep.
Oh, Josh, tell us what's been one of the highlights or two of this the 2020 process for you.
Wow. This year has been so different, and I think one of the highlights for me is the fact that we've been able to bring professionals from out of town and do workshops and panels with them, and be able to do that through the Zoom platform. So that's been really fun to just take in all this information that we've been learning from.
So what you're saying, you're glad you finally got somebody other than Kenny and I involved.
No, I love you guys. You guys are amazing. No, it's just nice because it's different. You get different voices and you get to hear different opinions on things.
Dennis Haley, all the way from the Pacific Northwest, and people from New York, and Peg O'Keefe from
the Rock of Contemplation, as she calls it.
Sure. Yeah, that's cool. That's cool. Very cool. Well, we have 3 pieces we want to share with our audience with you, and you should feel special. You're the only person who's getting 3 pieces, but they're so contrasting that we thought showing all 3 would really give people an idea of the breadth of your range. So why don't you set up the first one for us?
Well, thank you. So the first monologue that you're going to see is from Shakespeare's Much Ado About Nothing, and I hope you enjoy.
So do I. Rich?
This can be no trick. They seem to pity the lady. It seems her affections have their full bent. Love me. Why, it must be requited. I hear how I'm censured. They say that I will bear myself proudly if I perceive the love come from her. They say, too, that she'd rather die than give any sign of affection. I must not seem proud. Happy are they that hear the detractions and can put them to mending. They They say the lady is fair. 'Tis a truth. I can bear them witness. And virtuous to so, I cannot but prove it. And wise, but for loving me, by my troth, it is no addition to her wit, nor no great argument of her folly, for I will be horribly in love with her. I may by chance have some odd quirks and remnants of wit broken on me because I've railed so long against marriage. But doth not the appetite alter? A man loves meat in his youth that he cannot endure in his age. Shall quips and sentences and these paper bullets of the brain awe a man from the career of his humor? No, the world shall be peopled. When I said I would die a bachelor, I did not think I should live till I was married.
Excellent. So, Beth, is that a piece that you coached him on extensively?
I did. That is a piece that he has worked on for about a year now in various capacities. He originally, what's crazy about this is he does both Benedict and Claudio in Much Ado. So we had been already working on Claudio as his monologue for his Shakespeare pieces. And then his theater teacher, Tiffany Ortiz, put Much Ado in their season. And he was cast as Benedict. So he ended up doing both, and we did Benedict as his comedic.
Yeah.
Well, cool. I just want to say, Josh, one of the things that impresses me the most about that piece is when I'm coaching, I always try and get people who are still learning to suggest that we as the audience get to see the thought formulate in your mind before you speak the words. And with some of the most talented actors I know, I see that principle go out the window when they do Shakespeare, as if they're so concerned about the text that they forget to have the thought. And through that entire piece, I see you get every thought before you say the line. It's really impressive.
Thank you.
So the rest is shit, though. What's next?
Oh boy. Next up, we have Somebody's Baby by David Matthew Barnes.
Great. And well, look at that now.
I'm Josh Huff, and this is Somebody's Baby by David Matthew Barnes. I was 16 years old, and it was my birthday. It was the first time I ever had sex, and I mean, I'd seen commercials and they gave us brochures at school and stuff, but I didn't even think about all that. I figured it could never happen to me, and I thought the girl was safe. It's like, as soon as I did it, I knew something was wrong. I could just feel it inside. It felt like something had crawled inside my veins and was trying to get out. So I got tested at this clinic, and a week later I had to tell my mom. That was the hardest part. She told me I was no longer her son, so I grabbed a bag of my stuff and I left. But being here with you, it all makes sense. Everything with you is simple and calm, and I like that.
Beautiful job. And so we're going to end on a lighter note, a comedic, correct, Joshua?
Yes.
I love it the minute I didn't know where it was going, but the prop just set me up for a big smile, and it never left my face. So
You're not talking about Aiden's speech. You're talking about the one coming up, correct? Yeah.
Oh, God.
And what we're going to see next, Josh.
So next up, you're going to see The Last Square by Chris Tedrow.
All right.
Laura. Again? Now, I know we've talked about this. It's just... would you just stop for once? Okay? This matters to me. And not just this. There are so many things that matter to me in this relationship that you don't even seem to care about. Like my time and personal space. I used to have bowling night every Tuesday with the boys, and you haven't let me see my friends in months. Or what about politics, huh? I love politics. You didn't even vote. And look what happened. And if you make me drink one more of those godforsaken kale smoothies, I swear I'm gonna stick a fork in my eye. You know, I think this isn't the only thing that's finished here. Actually, I'm gonna take this because I might need it later, so. Okay, I'm gonna go.
Yay. Way to go.
The perfect way to end the videos from
Yes.
top.
Excellent work all the way around. Now, on to the most important thing, Josh. It's been called to my attention behind the scenes that you are dating one of the other top teens that we selected.
Yes, I am. I'm dating. Say that again.
Who is she?
I'm dating the lovely Laura Pualis. She's fellow top teen, and we've been dating for over a year now. It's been great.
Very good. Robbie,
Very
look,
talented.
younger girl, isn't she?
Say that again.
He's just saying that she's a year younger than you.
Oh, yeah. Sorry, you cut out.
Yeah, it's nice to see you blush. That's a side I haven't seen before. Now, we've run the whole gamut of emotion here in your fourth year. Where are you going on to when you leave? Are you leaving Orlando?
Yeah, so this year, a big part of my process was college auditions, and it's been announced that I'm going to be heading off to New York, and I'm going to be attending the BFA acting program at Pace University in the fall. So I'm really excited for that. I really am excited to take my training to the next level.
Great, and you had applied. You were accepted like everywhere you applied, correct? You had some choices.
Pretty much.
Yeah. Well, good for you coming from Polk County, and you have all your teeth, and you're gonna do well. I didn't know we had theater students from Polk County. So you're
Not at Polk. He's in Oviedo.
No, but it said Lakeland on his thing. Well, I was confused. Anyway, we're done. Thanks for being with us, Josh.
Awesome. I love you guys.
Oh, I enjoy it. Bye-bye.
Thanks for lying.
Oh, no.
You know we love you too.
Let's hang up. Bye-bye. You don't have to worry. No. Oh, Beth, we've done it, darling.
Cheers.
Cheers to that. Oh.
What an amazing group this year.
You're great, y'all.
And okay, bears mentioning there were 15 talented young people involved in this program. And I know people always say this, it's what you're almost obligated to say, it's become cliche, but god damn, it was not easy to cast our votes for winners, which we're not even aware of yet, or for Kenny and I to choose a few videos out of the 50 or so that I watched, because every one of the 15 kids had anywhere from 300 to 500 videos of their skills.
And that's culled down. I mean, there's like about half of another Dropbox of work that that didn't make this final cut to y'all. So yeah, it's cut.
There are equally talented people involved to the young people we just saw. It's just that decisions have to be made, and these honestly were among the hardest we've ever had to. Well, thanks for sharing with us, and we were
Thanks
thrilled.
for your support of all the artists in town that have been so in need of support right now. And yeah, so thanks for having us for the last 3 weeks. It's been great.
Hopefully next year we'll be in person, but if not, we know this at least works.
Yeah. We'll be together regardless.
Forever.
All right.
Forever.
Night,
Love you all. Thanks again.
Bye.
Bye.
Well, so that pretty much wraps it up for tonight. Don't forget, one of the purposes of tonight's broadcast is to raise that scholarship money. The URL is on the bottom of the screen, or you can just go to GoFundMe.com, and in the search engine, simply type Top Teens, and it will come up. Please make a donation if you can. Thank you for being with us. We'll be absent for a couple, 3 weeks while we regroup and decide how we're going to proceed. We're very thrilled to announce that we have taken care of every person who had applied for assistance when we began this 10 weeks ago. And we are in negotiations now with St. Luke's to create something bigger and better moving forward. And Rich and Kenny and I need a little bit of break. So we'll be back probably within about a month. What do you got to say, Kenny?
It's been a pleasure, and I can't wait to come back in a couple of 3 weeks, because that means 6.
Yeah.
But first, I'd just like to have Rich just at least say goodbye and sign off for now, because this, don't forget, was all his brainchild, and to see what we've done with it and to see what it's going to become with St. Luke's, it's a kind of a wonderful, incredible thing. Rich?
Yes, thank you guys. I appreciate it. It has been, but clearly we all need a break. So we'll be on an island somewhere. Don't call us. We'll call you. Guys, great job tonight. Thank you very much.
Hey, it's a weekend. Bye-bye.
Bye.
Bye, everybody.